नमस्कार, म नारायण न्यौपाने। तपाईहरुलाई मेरो YouTube च्यानलमा स्वागत छ। आजको भिडियोमा हाम्रो हवाई यात्राको तेस्रो एपिसोड लिएर उपस्थित भएको छु। यो एपिसोडमा तपाईहरुलाई हाम्रो पानी मुनिको यात्रा देखाउने छु। हामी एटलान्टिक सबमरिनको टिकट रुजु गराउने स्थानतिर अघि बढ्दैछौँ। एटलान्टिक सबमरिन टुर इन वाइकिकीका लागि खरिद गरिएका टिकटहरूलाई रुजु गराएपछि यात्रीहरू डिस्कभरी बोर्डतर्फ अगाडि बढ्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। हामी यो अगाडि देखिएको डिस्कभरी बोट चढेर सबमरिनसम्मको यात्रा गर्नेछौँ। Hello.
Narayan?
Yeah.
I saw them in the kiosk.
Yeah.
Okay, family, I'm going to take a nice picture. Down
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right here. Very good.
Always think you're right. That's where it all starts. Maybe you and me.
Get that confused sometimes. I do get that question quite a bit. This is not the submarine. We don't want this one to go down, right? We're gonna drive to the submarine about a mile offshore in this direction. You can kind of see out there. But it's about a mile offshore over here. Once you guys board the Discovery here, you guys see that ramp moving around on the dock there? You guys are gonna cross that thing 4 times when you guys are with us today. As you guys are crossing that ramp, you see how it's moving around. Make sure to take a big step on, and then when you're crossing, make sure you're holding onto those railings, especially when you're crossing onto the submarine out there. It'll get a little, you'll see it moving around a bit more, so make sure you guys are holding onto that railing. Once you get on board the Discovery, you guys can either sit downstairs or towards the back. There's stairs, you guys can head upstairs to that open air area. We'll play a little safety video for you guys when you get on. And okay, most important thing to remember if you are to pay attention to anything, there are no bathrooms on the submarine, right? The only bathrooms are here on the Discovery. So make sure if you have to go, you guys go when you're on the Discovery. You guys don't want to find yourselves sitting down in the submarine down there for 45 minutes surrounded by water having to use the bathroom, right? That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be a fun time. So if you have to go, which you go when you're on the Discovery here in that 7-ish minute drive out to the sub. There's no smoking on either vessels. We have smoking area right over here though. Last couple minutes out here before we get boarding. And that's about it. We'll talk to you a little bit more once you get onto the boat here. But just hang out until then.
अहिले हामी डिस्कभरी बोट चढेर समुद्र मुनिको यात्राका लागि अगाडि बढिसकेका छौँ।
If necessary, you'll be directed to one of 3 emergency exits. Emergency exits are clearly marked on the 2 side doors, rear door of the main cabin. There are also 3 variable valve lifeboats, 2 located on the top, and another for rear rescuers. If you're a passenger aboard the 64, remove the rebreather from its package. Take out the plugs, the inside and the outside. Place the hood over top of your head.
Pretending to pay attention to that. Alright, we are making our way offshore now, headed out towards our dive site. Just a couple quick reminders. Like the video said, please don't stand on the seats. It's a very easy way to fall and also go overboard, especially the little ones. I know sometimes they get really excited and want to stand up there, but please no standing on those seats. And also the handrails, just sitting or standing on the handrails up there as well. No restrooms on the submarine. You're mark about 45 minutes or so. There are restrooms on this boat though, located on the lower level. There are 3 of them down there. Either side. Just please make sure if you're going up and down the stairs, you are using the handrails here. It does feel a little bumpy on our way out here. And also there's a couple of yellow squares located right there at the top of the stairwell. Please no standing on those. Number 1, it does block the stairwell for traffic, but also it is the opening. That's an easy way to tumble down there. We certainly do not want that to happen. Not uncommon to see turtles and dolphins. Dolphins, especially this time of the morning. So we want to keep our eyes open for that. If we see anything, guys, we're certainly going to let you know. If you guys see anything, do let us know. Shout it out. That way, hopefully, we can let the rest of us get it.
करिब 1 माइलको यात्रा तय गरिसकेपछि हामी चढेर पानीमुनि जाने सबमरिनको पहिलो दर्शन पाइयो। डिस्कभरी बोटबाट उत्रिएर अहिले हामी सबमरिन प्रवेश गर्ने क्रममा छौँ। सबै यात्रीहरू सबमरिन प्रवेश गरिसकेपछि एटलान्टिस सबमरिनका कर्मचारीहरूले सबमरिनका ढोकाहरू बन्द गर्दछन्। कर्मचारीहरूले ढोका बन्द गरेर आफ्नो गन्तव्यतर्फ लागिसकेपछि सबमरिनका पाइलटले सबमरिनलाई पानी मुनि लैजान्छन् र हाम्रो समुद्र मुनिको यात्रा सुरु हुन्छ।
So you see the little bursts of air that's coming up from the submarine. That is actually the high pressure air that was keeping the submarine on the surface, or at least the upper portion of it anyways. So they just released it, and now the submarine is going to just submerge the top half. Once the top half is submerged, we will need extra help to push it all the way under. And you can see the extra help actually comes from the verticals right along the side. So those verticals will push the submarine all the way under, and we can help with all the water that we actually pump into our water ballast. It will remain underwater. And there it goes. The last part of the submarine to go under is that top antenna there. And that top antenna is helping the submarine connect to the VHF radio. So we can talk to everyone out here. Once that antenna is submerged, they can no longer talk to anyone but that tugboat that's out there.
एटलान्टिस 14 सबमरिनको हाम्रो यात्रा सुरु भइसकेको छ। मनोरञ्जन लिनुहोला है त।
Welcome aboard. Hi. Right over there. Yeah, right there. I think that's the last one, folks. I'm going to close up this forward hatch. The back hatch is getting closed by Caitlin over there. Now, the ocean is not like a lake. It doesn't stand still or sit still. The ocean is moving like underwater rivers that you can't see, but you can feel them as you drive the sub, and you're a pilot. It really kind of fights against the sub. So we will change up the tour depending on the currents underwater and also the visibility. Yeah. Good question, though. Thank you. If you guys are thirsty or hungry, go ahead and help yourself to your snacks there. And if you're concerned about the sub tipping over, just reach down beneath your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thanks. All right. We're heading down, so what we're going to do is look for a depth of around 80 feet, 70 to 80 feet, and what that tells me is that we're approaching our very first artificial reef system, known as the University of Hawaii Pyramids. 4-foot white tip reef shark straight underneath the sub somewhere. Caitlin in the back there might see him, might be on the starboard side. That's cool. Once sharks are in the area, they swim around, we might see them again. These are the pyramids. They are made of cement or concrete slabs, like a layer cake, stacked up on each other. They resemble a pyramid you might see in the Yucatan Peninsula or a Mayan or Aztec style pyramid, hence the name. And they were built and designed by the marine science program out of University of Hawaii. And why are they here? What are they? Well, just think of them as fish houses, condominium for fish and marine life. In our earlier days, I used to tell people, believe it or not, and they would believe me, that these are actually the remains of the very first ABC stores. In Waikiki, yeah. She's like, I can see that, yeah. Because there's ABC stores everywhere. Now, one thing you'll notice on these pyramid reefs, they do attract a lot of fish, but not a lot of coral is growing on top. The surface are still smooth. There's only a little bit of coral here and there, and that is because they're made of cement or concrete. It's not the best material for a reef to grow on top of or attach. Coral reefs are very specific to where they stick to and start growing. They all start with a tiny microscopic little animal like a tiny jellyfish that lands on the bottom and then attaches, makes a little cement base, and then starts multiplying. Food for green sea turtles. They like that stuff. It's very crunchy. It's not like a soft plant or grass. It's actually made of calcium carbonate, which is almost the same material as corals are made of. Port side, you're getting the sneak peek of one of our next reef sites, and we'll do this one half of the sub at a time. And what you're looking at here on the port left-hand side are these really tall reefs that we built. They're called the Asahi or Japanese style reefs. We also call them the wine racks because they're made with big hoops or circles, and they're made out of fiberglass. Rings and pipes all lashed together. They look really big. I've measured them. I've been diving here. They're about 13 feet, 12, 13 feet tall. Everything you see through the window will appear bigger and closer, about 25%. It's like looking through a magnifying glass, this viewport. Take a look at these though. These are one of my favorite reefs because they are full of coral growing on the sides, also sponge material and some algae and stuff grows there. But more importantly, they're like a perfect hangout spot and a hiding spot for all your fish. Even the big fish live here, the big predatory ones, the hunters, like the lions or leopards or whatever. We call these guys the kings of the reef. They're known as jacks, uluas, or bluefin trevallies. And you'll see them because they're big, silver, they're larger than anything else, usually a blue, iridescent, or a shiny silver color, and they're motoring around and they have a large mouth, which means that they swallow anything smaller than them. Take a look out there on the port side. You will see two giant groups of schools of fish. Yellow ones on the bottom called millet sea butterfly fish, and then the ones with the zebra stripes, black and white stripes up above them, called the pennant butterfly fish. The water tends to grow the most coral reef more than anything. Beyond that would be aluminum, any kind of metals attract coral, and then we just did a U-turn and we're going to give you some views on the port side of this beautiful living reef here, the poly reef on top of that ancient lava flow. So there's a real popular fish there. He's kind of a dark orange with a really dark colored face and yellow tail, about the size of your palm. He's called the sunburst butterfly fish. Submarine. I love that fish. He's crazy. What happened? How come there's an airplane underwater? Well, this company really, they sank pretty quick. They couldn't hold water. Their stocks dipped, whatever you want to say. But this was a couple of airplanes that Atlantis bought, okay, 35 years or so back then. These planes were sitting in a junkyard. They are part of a mid-Pacific airline company that went out of business in the 70s. They used to fly these propeller turboprop planes between the islands. The airplane itself is probably the same size as the sub, with a couple wings on it. And we bought two of them, cleaned them up, dropped them underwater. 1992, a gigantic hurricane came by with giant surf and ripped the rest of the planes apart and only left the wing and a bit of the fuselage. I don't know what's going on there, folks. This is definitely, yeah, that's turtle action. Wow, look at that. So these turtles, what they're doing is they're fighting, well, maybe fighting. They're fighting over some space. They're going to a cleaning station where the fish come around and clean the shells. Caitlin, look at those turtles. It's called turtle piggyback. I think one of those turtles is a male, one's a female. Don't quote me on that. Post modern times. This is a big submerged boat that Atlantis bought called the YO-257 Yard Oiler. It's a retired U.S. Navy ship, and it is phenomenal. It's the biggest sunken ship reef here off of Waikiki. It's also a popular scuba dive spot. You get divers that come out here every morning, usually about 8 or 9 o'clock. And it is covered with live coral. It's covered with all kinds of shells and oysters, and it is covered with thousands of fish. Look at that thing, 176 feet long. Wow. Here's a parrotfish. He's got beautiful turquoise color, pinks and stuff on him, and half of him is green. He's chomping on coral right on the edge of the ship in conflict and so forth. Then it was retired, and Navy was going to blow it up, and Atlantis and some other dive companies said, hey, can you not sink it or blow it up? Can you drop it in 100 feet of water? Give us a great reef and a dive site, and that's exactly what they did. It's pretty cool though. Oh yeah, the turtles have separated. Look at the hunters though. The fish are active. You see the trevallies out there? They're either a shiny silver or a charcoal gray color. They can change their skin tone or their scales tone quickly depending on their mood, or if they're in stealth mode or active or hungry or agitated. They do that. Lots of fish can. They're moving around. I don't know what this is, but they are definitely excited at this point. This is so cool, folks. We're going to see turtles and a beautiful school of those yellow snappers out there and goatfish. Wow. Great views. Port side, folks. We're coming in. We got this flying turtle. He's joining the party, or she. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4 turtles on the port side. 4 turtles port side, straight down. Look at that. Those turtles are resting, but what's neat to know is they're all resting in the same spot, and they go there day in and day out. That's called a turtle cleaning station. We're getting close. I can see a line or a cable down on the seafloor. Some of these cables are solid steel, and they were left behind from the tugboats there that position the ship. Port side, we've got the San Pedro. Now take a look at this. There's that porcupine pufferfish I told you about earlier. Look at him. He's got like a big old head. He's long, skinnier towards the tail, little mouth open. It's kind of cute. Those are the ones that inflate like a volleyball when they ever get threatened or scared or harassed. You know, seems cute now, but they will bite your finger. Cool. They're all resting, folks, and getting clean. They're just lining up. They can care less about the sub. They know us, but they're all doing their routine. See that? They're putting their body, their fins, and their neck on display so the little fish can come by. And welcome back to the surface, everybody. How round of applause for our Captain Stephen. He did a great job. I knew he would have to pay attention to him the whole time. He knew what he was doing. We'll be opening up the hatches. If you're under the hatch area, cover your phones and cameras, because this is where the salt water drips in, about 5 gallons or so. It shouldn't be much. That's the sound. That tells me, take a look around your chairs. Don't leave anything behind, because we are going up to the surface.
समुद्र मुनि 100 फिटसम्मको मनमोहक यात्रा पुरा गरेर हामी फर्कने क्रममा छौँ। अहिलेसम्म भिडियो हेरेर साथ दिनुहुने तपाईहरू सबैलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। यस्तै भिडियोहरू भविष्यमा पनि हेर्नका लागि यो च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नभुल्नुहोला। फेरि भेटौँला।